Good morning. Yeah, 1212. Well, at least it's not 1912 or 2012. I remember that. I remember someone making a big deal, maybe Eli, about 1212, 2012. Yeah, we're done with that, right? No more. Like 100 years from now or so, because we're into the beyond. There are no 20 months. Well, I don't know if anybody's here. Wait, well, now maybe somebody's here. I'm keeping an eye on the number. It looks like um, one person. Maybe it's Dave. No, maybe two people. So Dave is here. Did you leave though? Because the number went down to 0. So I'm just wondering how accurate that may or may not be. I don't think so, because it just a moment or so ago it had said 0, which, so I wondered if you had disconnected and connected again. So okay, so that number is not very accurate. It could mean anything. I don't know. Can you see the number? It's at the top. Um, it's at the top left corner of the screen. Um, there's a so the top left corner of the screen. There's like a little, thumb, and then there's a. Okay, so you can see it. Right. Well, okay. So who knows? That could be us, or maybe someone else is here. I don't know. All right. Well, um, I'll give it a couple minutes. Did you just like something? So there was something I wanted to talk about yesterday that I couldn't remember, and then I was thinking about it this morning, and now it's gone again. So I don't know. I don't know what it is, why it's just nibbling around the edges of my consciousness, but we'll have to get back to it when it's ready. It's probably an idea that is not quite done yet. Um, so let's talk a little bit about. So I was watching a Christmas movie last night, and this is the season for watching Christmas movies. And it wasn't a great Christmas movie, but it was okay. And it got me to thinking about this idea of Christmas movies and um, what that sort of phenomenon is about. And something that I have noticed about Christmas movies in general um, is they have this idea of uh, sort of the unity of the human experience. And the Christmas movies are not, they're largely very secular, right? There's not a lot of religious aspect to them. It's about, family and traditions, um, and charity. They're most of them are kind of focused around some um, good works, right? That somebody is doing or um, realizes the importance of, right? So the one that we were watching was about um, the air base in Guam, where they do this um drop of supplies at Christmas time to the islanders that live in remote areas and can't get the things that they need. And they've been doing it, I think they said like 70 years. So I guess since World War II, probably since, they started having that base on Guam. Um, and how important that is for so many reasons, right? I mean, they were talking about how um, they use it as sort of a training session, learning how to drop these supplies, um, but also as kind of a morale booster for the people working there, in this very remote area far from home. It gives them some connection to community and to doing for other people, which I think is really great. And really, um, we are. I think what we forget all year round, and that we remember around Christmas time, is that we are all one. That we talk about how important family is, but as we get towards the holidays, our um, our family widens, right? Our perception of family gets a little bigger, so that we start extending some kindness to others. We often give to charity or donate to some cause. There's lots of good organizations that you can get involved with to help out. Um, Somewhat less this year, right? Because there's not a lot of physical contact. So any things where you were doing something, like for instance, adopt a family. I think this year that idea is more giving money so that they can do something rather than getting the physical items yourself, just for safety's sake. But this is a great way to um, kind of support our sort of yoga path, right? This idea of helping other people and um, kind of extending your concept of family. Um, if we are all one, then we are all family, right? We are all one big giant family. Um, and what we can do for other people is very important. Just as if you had a family member who was not doing well, you would want to be able to share what you had with them. Um, in the larger sense, we want to do that with the human family as well. Um, so if you have extra, don't don't be shy. Give that to people who might need it. Um, in a yogic sense, it's a that transfer of energy, positive in a positive sense, is um, you're getting you're doing good, right? You're accruing sort of a good karma from these actions, and that helps, right? I mean, it helps us on a lot of different levels. But I wish that we could think of this all year round, right? I love that at Christmas time, people seem very open to the idea of um, loving their neighbor and um, giving freely to themselves, to their friends and relatives, but also to strangers, to people who might be in need. Um, but I would love if we could extend that, keep that going. It's not something that stops. The need doesn't end on December 25th. It's an ongoing thing. Um, and if we could think of that as um, part of what we do every day, every month, um, there would be a lot less people in need, and that would help us all, right? So they say, right, society is only as healthy as the weakest point, um, the poorest element, the most unhealthy. Um, if we can't help those people, if we won't help those people, we are going to suffer as a larger group. Um, and that's the truth. I mean, there's no denying that. You can dispute the various ways that you should be helping or not be helping, or who should be helping. Um, those are opinions, and that's just logistics, right? But there's no doubt that people are in need, and if they are in need, they should get what they need. Um, so keep Christmas in your heart all year round. That's one of my favorite, right? Christmas Carol, um, one of my favorites. And if you get a chance this year, um, watch one. There's lots of different versions of it. Um, it's very inspirational, right? It's it is speaking on a very yogic level, even though it was written, I mean, I don't know what Charles Dickens, he's a very educated fellow. He may well have been very familiar with, yogic principles, but um, I think there's a universality to that um, we we can see in many different areas. But even though it was written so long ago, it is so true today. In fact, maybe even truer today than when it was written. All right, so let's do some asana um, and keep Christmas in our heart. Sitting up tall. Drop your head down. And then moving around, big circle with the head. One way and then moving the other way. back to center. Lean forward and move around. Going one way and then the other. Back up, arms wide. Deep breath, and then exhale, hands together. On an inhale, we bring the arms wide, and then exhale, hands together. Inhale and exhale. Interlace the fingers, lift. Arms down by your side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And once more, lifting up. Right hand down by your side, reach across with the left. Switch sides. Back up. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind, sit up tall. Deep breath and twist. Back to center and switch. Take a deep breath and twist. And back to center. Tabletop. Sit back on the heels. Moving back up into tabletop. Cat-cow for a few breaths. Inhale, then exhale. And then sitting back on the heels. Maybe bring the knees a little wider and stack the fists. Press the forehead down. Moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Step the feet up. Breathe. Rising up slowly. Standing tall, breath in and breath out. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back with the right. Drop the knee, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat, stepping back. Downward dog. Inhale to high plank. And lower down. On an inhale, we're lifting head and chest. Lower. Lift. Lower. Lift. And lower. And then let's start moving up. Tabletop to downward dog. One more breath, and then stepping up with that right foot, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Back foot steps up and fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Lift on your inhale. Arms overhead and then back to mountain. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop the knee. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Stepping back. Downward dog. Coming forward to high plank. And then lower down. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lifting the body. Lower. And once more. Lifting up. Lower down. And heading back up. Tabletop, then downward dog. Take one more breath. Left foot steps up. Drop your knee, arms overhead. And hands back to the mat. Step up the back foot and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Arms high. And we're back to mountain. Breath in. And breath out. Stepping out to the side. Let's bring hands to the waist or the hips. Take a deep breath. And then leaning forward. Let the body lower. Keep breathing. Moving back up. Use that, strengthen the legs. Deep breath in and out. Facing the front again. We've got right leg out, left leg behind. Interlace the fingers. Shoulders back. Take a deep breath and fold. Rising up. Back foot steps to the front, arms overhead. Back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Stepping to the side again. Another fold. We can do, same thing with our hands. Breath in, fold. Hands back. Breath in and breath out. And then walk the feet in. So we're about shoulder width or so. Hands together. Take a deep breath. Bend the knees. And we're lowering down. And then rising back up. Release the hands. Turn so we're facing the front again. Hands behind. Got the left leg out, right leg back. Deep breath, fold forward. Rise up. Back foot steps to the front, arms overhead. Back to your mountain. Breath in and breath out. Let's work on some balance. We can start with tree, standing on the left, maybe a kickstand or bringing that foot up higher. Right knee rotates to the side. Find that steady balance at center. And then you might extend the arms, but that's the last thing you want to do, right? You want everything else to be really solid and working from that stable foundation. If you aren't steady, your arms aren't going to save you. And then bring everything back. And we're standing on the right foot. Right? Steady here, maybe extension, see what is working today. So a lot of times we are stronger on the right side with the balance, but that just means you want to spend more of your time on the left side, or whichever side needs more attention. And then set the foot down. Bicycle legs. So it's impossible, probably impossible, to get rid of all of the imbalances in the body, but we work on trying to correct some of them. Imbalances, if you're really heavy imbalances in the body, then you'll have a tendency to, everything will be out of place, right? You'll pull other parts of the body out of place. And that's certainly not an ideal way to be, right? So people that have a lot of chronic issues with, pinched nerves and things just being a little out of place, a lot of times it is. They've got this heavy imbalance between strength and flexibility on different sides of the body. So if you do notice a strong preference, a strong ability difference, you want to work on that side that needs the help. It will improve everything. It will improve the balance in the body and all of that. I know it's not as much fun, right? Everyone wants to do a beautiful pose, but sometimes it's better to work on that, kind of ugly pose and build that up. All right, and let's do dancers. We haven't done that in a while. Arms up overhead. Drop that right hand, and we're going to catch a hold of. So you might just be touching the foot. You might be able to grab a hold of the foot. See what works for you today. And then where you are, you might stay here, or you might have some extension. See how things feel. And breathe. And then gently release it, cartwheel the arms around. And we'll work on the left side, catching the foot or not, right? Maybe just reaching back for the foot and then maybe some extension. And if you fall out, just get yourself steady and try again. And then release it. Cartwheel arms around. And let's come down to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. Back up, both legs out in front. Inhale and exhale. Moving back up. Let's bend that right knee. Hug it in close. A couple of breaths. And then lowering the knee out to the side. We're going to sit up tall for a deep breath. And then as we exhale, reaching down towards that left foot and fold the body. Back up. Let's switch the legs. Sitting up tall. And then lowering. Take a deep breath and fold. Back up. Both legs out in front. Deep breath. Fold. Moving up. Let's point and flex the feet. Then moving around. Going one way and then the other. Then bring left hand on the outside of right knee, right arm behind you, sitting up tall, and a twist. Back to center, switch sides. Inhale and then exhale, twist. Back to center. Bend the knees. Soles of the feet on the mat. Lower down. Take a few breaths. And then bringing right ankle on top of left knee. We can press that knee away from the body or draw left thigh in closer. Breathe. And then set the foot down. Switch. This time, maybe the right knee, right thigh comes in. And then rest your feet back down. We're going to extend the legs, extend the arms, bring the legs a little wider on the mat. Arms are out to a T for 5-pointed star. And then bring your knees into the chest. Rock side to side. You'll make some circles with the knees, holding onto the kneecaps. One direction and then the other. And let's do supported bridge here. You could also do regular bridge if you prefer. Get your block or whatever you want here, setting up with heels back close to the body. Hands right by your side. Press down to lift up. And breathe. And you can always bring the knees into the chest or extend the legs, whatever is your preference. Sometimes it's nice to move a little. Some days just staying still feels the best. And then let's lift up, remove the block. Oops. Resting back down. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Knees together. Let's walk the feet out to the edges of the mat. Goalpost arms or arms to a T. And then we're lowering both knees over to the right. The feet stay where they are. Back to your center and then moving knees to the left. Back to center. And let's just extend the legs. Moving here into Shavasana. So as we get into Shavasana, we want to feel very relaxed. Notice, right, if you have anywhere that feels tight. Sometimes the shoulders or there's something that just doesn't feel quite right. So maybe, get that settled. Maybe rock a little side to side or whatever you need to do. You can kind of scan the body and see, which parts might need a little more attention to relax. Keep the breath moving. So practicing some of our yogic um, yamas and niyamas, right? Living our truth. Um, if the truth is that we are all one, living that truth can't be, you can't be selfish, right? You just can't. You're not authentically living your truth if you are holding on to things you don't need, if you are um, not willing to share with others, if you aren't recognizing other people's value, you're not living these principles. Um, and this is where it gets hard, right? It's hard to love your neighbor as yourself um, when their dog is barking and you're trying to teach a yoga class. um, but the only hint I can give you about that is to remember that you are imperfect too. We all are. We are all just trying to find our way. You may have the benefit of the knowledge of yoga and the yamas and the niyamas that someone else does not. You may have this framework and kind of a guide to follow to help sort of improve yourself and help you um, be able to move through this. This other person may have never heard of any of these things. They're just kind of fumbling around, trying to figure it out, and making a lot of mistakes along the way. When we talk about, and they talk a lot about gurus in yogic culture, and guru is, in one sense, it means teacher, but in a bigger sense, it means the one who turns on the light. So if you can imagine yourself in a room full of information and books and helpful hints and guides on how to do the things that you need to do in life, but the room is dark, it's black. You can't read anything, you can't touch anything. You're stumbling, bumping into things, probably just making a right mess of everything. The guru is the person that switches the light on for you and shows you where are the answers, right? Where might you find the answers? Here's some resources. Um, the guru isn't going to do it for you. They're not going to make you do it. They're not going to say, pick up this book and only this book. Um, they're just giving you a little help, right? Just a little uh, awareness of what is around you. Um, it's up to us to choose what we do with that. How far are we going to go? How committed are we going to be? Knowing that, and it's important to remember that a large um, a large percentage of the people you come into contact with are still in that dark room. Right? They really um, they're really struggling. So be patient with them, be understanding, and maybe if you have the opportunity, see if you can turn the light on for them. Sometimes it's just our actions, right? Our example that can be the start of that. When you feel ready, moving again and maybe making it up to a seat, we can bring hands together for a deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time this morning for yoga and for sharing it with me. I hope you have a very good Saturday and weekend. Namaste. Okay, meditation, 5 minutes. Gotta find my app here. Okay. Okay, so you're sitting comfortably, I hope. Breathing. If you want to lay down again, you can, or maybe you just never even got up. That's okay. Just find a peaceful place wherever that might be. Eyes closed and breathe. So back to awareness, back to your everyday life, some yoga and some meditation for your Saturday. I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll be back on Monday. So enjoy your weekend.